Hello and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
And we've got the big event, big moment of silence for a certain character this week in the Bat family. But The Simpsons, there's a really cool book that came out this week, Professor Frink Fantastic Science Fictions #1. This is from Bongo Comics. The book is $3.99. This one is actually written by Ian Boothby and drawn by Hilary Barta, made up of a couple of different stories.
It's got 3 different stories.
You get some really cool 3D glasses. They aren't like the high-quality 3D that you get in the movie theaters, but they are the red and blue that is mainly used for a couple of the final pages in the story and for the back of the book, which has a black and white picture of Professor Frink with a bunch of crazy shit happening around him.
Yeah, it was the 3 stories I thought were really cute. I think this is one of the better Simpson comics that we've gotten recently. In the first story, he's on a date with this really hot girl, and he has a potion, I guess, that's a cool potion. And he goes to take it, and she's like, you don't need that, and throws it in the river, and he wakes up the next day, and everybody's acting cool. And he's like, oh no, I gotta fix the town. Everyone
is like a hipster.
Yep. So he's running around with Lisa and 2 other kids. I don't remember who they are.
A couple of the nerdy kids.
Right, who are apparently too nerdy to have been affected by this potion.
Yeah, they're like, either you guys were too hip for this potion to work or too nerdy that you could never be this cool. And they're like, oh no, we were too hip.
Yeah, we were just, our willpower was too strong. I did like at the end of this, he finally turns to his girlfriend and he's like, look, I realize that our relationship is too dangerous. We can't do this anymore. And she's like, you're right. I'm going to go see if Bill Nye is still single.
Yeah. The second story has the 3-eyed fish that we've seen in the older Simpsons episodes, back when the Simpsons were actually good. And Professor Frink wants to accelerate the evolution of the fish, so he adds like a special fish food to it, and it ends up growing its own legs, but it also multiplies really quickly. Eventually, they multiply way too much to running around the town, and he has to find a solution to wrangle all these fish together.
Yep, and so they enlist the help of the hillbilly guy.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Cletus.
That's his name, Cletus.
Cletus.
And he lures them in with Krusty burgers, and they capture them all. Well, what are we going to do with them all now? And Krusty's like, oh, I need a new mystery meat. Here, sell them all to me. And then he puts them in his burgers. It was gross. But it was a really cute issue.
Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Mm-hmm. The next standalone book is going to be Mr. Burns. He's going to have his own book in the summer.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That'll be awesome. I'm excited.
Did you like the issue?
I did. I did like this issue a lot. I liked the last story the best. We didn't touch on that one. But that was the best out of all of them. Definitely worth the money, I think.
And it connected to the Simpsons Summer Extravaganza, I think, with the one character,
the
Dimensional
Summer
guy.
Spectacular or something, yeah. Next, on the indie side, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Secret History of the Foot Clan. This is #3. It was written by Burnham and drawn by, I can't pronounce it.
Santaloco.
Oh, I'm glad you can pronounce that. This was a really good issue. I'm going to have to say, I don't know, the other one was really, this is my pick of the week.
This one?
This one's going to be my pick of the week. What I love about this series is how easily it flows between the past and the legend and the present, and it's just a seamless flow. It works perfectly. This is a very well-written book. The art is fantastic in it.
Yeah, this Secret History of the Foot Clan has been really solid, like you said. And a lot of times you don't see the miniseries for a lot of the books, really be as strong as the main one. But this one is really holding up, and I hope that means good things for the upcoming one, which is for the supervillains, and the first one is going to be Krang. This book is pretty much an origin to the Shredder, and it continues on that, and it continues expanding on the reincarnation aspect of the character, including the Turtles, but mainly Shredder.
Right. You also get more of, and I typically don't like magic and mysticism in with my books, but the way they put it in this one, it's true, but they make it seem so much like legend that you just accept it and you're like, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really sets up a bigger story than what you know about the TMNT. And moving on to DC, this one's actually my pick of the week. It's Dr. Manhattan, #4 of 4. It's part of the Before Watchmen line. This is the final issue of the Dr. Manhattan series. And this one covers the first meeting, the first real conversation between Dr. Manhattan and Ozymandias. And then halfway through the book, you actually have to flip the comic book upside down and continue reading it but backwards. because it represents the change that Dr. Manhattan brings about the universe. And then it suddenly brings you to the end of the Watchmen novel or the movie if you just watched the movie, and shows you exactly where Dr. Manhattan goes at the end of it, and
That
how
was cool.
how he and Ozymandias agree on the settled events, on everything that happens to Rorschach, how they settle the tragedy that occurs that unites all the nations at the end of Watchmen. And finally he goes off and is isolated, but it's a good ending for him. It's a very tidy. He turns into a creator of a different planet, and he is pretty much their god there. And I thought it was a very satisfying ending to Dr. Manhattan.
It was. I don't believe that this series was as strong as the other Before Watchmen series we've seen. Like Minutemen, I think, was their strongest, and then you have Silk Spectre, which is very strong as well. But I did like that they took you beyond just the ending of Watchmen. They're like, and then here's what happened to him. And he was satisfied in that. And I was happy to see Dr. Manhattan kind of have closure, I guess, for his life and be like, look, this is better.
My only complaint about these Before Watchmen books, and has nothing to do with the writing or the art, but it's more on the way that DC handles the structure of the book. They kind of treat these as if they were just regular monthly books that come out on their own. This is Watchmen. This is adding to the story of Watchmen, and then at the end they throw in a sneak peek at the new Constantine book.
Right.
It's like this should stand on its own. You know, you shouldn't be adding like regular advertisements for an upcoming book. I think this is more important than that.
At least we got rid of those Green Arrow advertisements.
Yeah, I'm glad. That would have been the shittiest thing if they added like those Green Arrow things at the top of these.
Before Watchmen, watch Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Next we have I, Vampire number 17. This is quickly coming up on the end. 19 is the end.
Yeah.
This one was written by Joshua, I can't
pronounce
Fialkov. How can you pronounce these? And drawn by Fernando Blanco. I can pronounce that one. Yay. This is continuing where we left off in the last one, where our heroes, I guess, are coming up on Constantine's house, and you have the villains inside already. They walk in to try and take them out and pretty much see their worst fears.
Yeah, the house kind of fucks with them all.
Yeah.
And Constantine sounds like he's been in this house before, because he's like, last time we did this, I won. What have you got for me this time?
Well, it's Constantine's house.
They made him really strong.
Yeah. He's like, here's a cigarette, dead.
Not scary. Like, he thinks there's very little effort on Constantine's part, and he suddenly dispels this giant spell that, was suddenly out there to stop Andrew Bennett, to stop all these demons, as if it's nothing.
Right. Meanwhile, while they're facing their fears, and you had a lot of character death in this one, like people that we like, and dead. I liked the interaction between Andrew and the Doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to give any of that away, but that was my favorite part.
I'll give it away. The series is ending. Fuck it.
But what happens is that the Doctor walks into one of the rooms and he sees his grandma. I guess this is supposed to be kind of like hell. And he goes, Grandma, why are you stuck here? And she's like, because I had impure thoughts about other ladies. And then Andrew walks in, he's like, guess it runs in the family. And you're like, oh no!
And then he he kind of seduces him a little bit, the old man, and then rips his heart out.
And he's like, you're all heart now.
I was like, I thought we were supposed to like Andrew. He's been a real asshole the last couple of issues.
Right. In addition, though, kind of as a side story, you have Kane comes back in. And he's like, cool, I'm going to go get my lady. And he's walking into this portal into hell, and he becomes a super strong thing. That's where the issue... Is that where it leaves off, or does it leave off with Andrew's lady?
Yeah, it leaves off with a big death in it, which I don't know if I agreed with. I was like, you're killing off a lot of these characters, but now you're killing off characters that we really cared about.
Right. Well, they're killing off the series. What do you want?
I don't know. They could have appeared in Justice League Dark and continued the story. The same characters exist in the DC universe, as we saw Batman run around in a couple of the early issues.
Batman's allowed to run around in everything.
So I don't know. I would have kept a couple of these characters alive. But if that's what they need to do to close the story out, then fine. Maybe it'll lead to something better.
What would you do if... So Kane's there, and they're having a hard time beating him, and then a batarang hits him in the face. And that's how they end the series. Batman saves the world again.
Just cuts to all of them in Arkham and Batman walking out. Next is Talon number 5, written by Scott Snyder. I believe this is one of the final issues written by Scott Snyder.
Man.
Drawn by Guillaume March. And again, I still think it's a really strong story. I know you didn't like the number 4 that much, but I still enjoyed it.
I like this one better than I've liked the past ones. I also like the way it opened up. Maybe that's why I like it so much. But
Could
it
be.
opens up in the Batcave, where Batman's watching this footage of what appears to be Talons going at each other and trying to kill each other. We all know it's really Rose.
Yeah, Calvin Rose.
Calvin Rose. Destroying them. And so Batman's talking to Nightwing and kind of trying to figure this out. You get to see some really cool Batmobiles in the background.
The
Your
Tumbler.
favorite.
Yeah, the Tumbler, the 1989 Batmobile, and the best one, almost front and center, is the Batman the Animated Series Batmobile right next to the Batpod.
Yep.
Really cool Batcave.
It was. They did a great job with the Batcave. It's always good to see the animated series in there somewhere.
But Batman's problem with Calvin Rose is, and he says that he's been trying to move silently and draw the owls out one by one, and that's how he takes them out. But Calvin Rose is being more aggressive and actually going for their bank accounts, going for certain critical bases and houses that they operate in, which he feels like it may spark a war in Gotham, which will cost, many innocent lives, and he's against that.
Batman knows best.
He does know best.
I agree with Batman.
But overall, I thought it was a really strong issue. I'm still liking the Talon series. I hope it'll continue strong after Scott Snyder, leaves off. And
they left it off at a really something big's gonna happen with how they left this one off. In addition, you still got the Gotham Strangler, Executioner, somebody. He's running
the
around.
Gotham
Butcher, snapping people's necks and.
Just because he's frustrated, like, oh, I'm evil. Not much character to him, really. It's just a big, strong guy that kills people.
Executes people.
But yeah, I recommend the Talon series.
Yeah, I think it'll pick up more from here than it has in the past. Next is Batman the Dark Knight, number 17, written by Greg Hurwitz and drawn by Ethan Van Sciver. This one had some humor in it.
It did?
I was surprised. But this one's good. You're continuing to follow the Mad Hatter. You get the Mad Hatter's background in this, which I thought was great. Mm-hmm. Batman saving a little kid. And the little kid's like, this is the coolest thing ever. You almost died, little kid.
He did not give a shit either. He was oblivious to how he was almost raped or whatever these guys were going to do to him. Like mind control him, obviously not rape, but in my mind that would have been funnier.
He was raped. And then Batman's like, okay, you're free. He's like, this is the best ride ever! And then he runs away. I'm like,
how Batman ignores him too. He's just like, you're safe now.
Yeah.
And leaves.
Yeah. Leading up to some really good stuff, Mad Hatter is still really, really creepy.
Yeah, he's still killing off like his henchmen. Like, ooh, he's like a Bond villain. Really, anyone frustrates him, and he just snaps their neck around. Like the one
and
guy,
then has tea with them.
Yeah, he has tea with the dead bodies. Like one guy's like, the 45 degrees and 30 degrees. I don't see much of a difference. And then that's when he takes his head, turns it around, and tilts it. And he's like, there, do you see a difference now? And I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess he's supposed to be evil and creepy. But what I thought was cool about the Mad Hatter's origin in this is he doesn't have like this bad background to him. Like he's actually, it's a bit of a twist because his background is actually fairly pleasant. You see him about to get bullied and you're like, oh, well, that's what was wrong with him, I guess. In school, he got bullied and I'm sure he's about to kill the bully in some disturbing way and that's when he turns evil. No, like some people come to his aid and they're like, hey, leave Jarvis alone.
Yeah. And
he goes off and he plays baseball with them and everything's good and he ends up with the girl that he loves and he goes and has a great time with her and I'm like, where did this all go bad?
Right, I'm curious to see, but then he drinks some more trippy tea and
yeah, he's just kind of like a druggie is what they're aiming at, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe in number 18 they'll kind of show how it all falls apart, if it does fall apart. If it doesn't, then good for them.
Either way, it's a great build-up.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do cool things with it. Going back to the humor in it, though.
Yeah.
There's that one scene, it cracked me up. He's talking to Gordon, and he goes, they're going to have this family picnic by Jarvis Tech. So we need to go there and do that. And, Gordon turns around like he always does, and he's like, okay, we're going to do this, and then he stops mid-sentence, he goes, and this is the part where I turn around and you're gone. Batman goes, nope, still here.
Yeah, and there's two panels of them just staring at each other. And Gordon's like, well, okay then. And Batman's like, all right, and leaves.
He just walks away. There was another part in it, too, I can't remember, but some great humor that kind of stopped you for a second. You're like, oh, that's kind of fits.
And Ethan Van Sciver, the way he draws Batman with his cape out, his cape is literally like bat wings, and I kind of like that. I feel like it's more symbolic of the character. I don't feel like they're actually bat wings, but it's really cool to see him. Like when he rescued that kid that we were talking about earlier, there's this great panel of Batman and then a big spotlight on him and the kid, and this just these wings like folded over around them. It was a really cool panel, and I really like the way Ethan Van Sciver's been drawing this too.
Right. Yep.
And like I said, my pick of the week was the Before Watchmen, and yours was the TMNT micro series. And Batman Incorporated #8, not our pick of the week. It wasn't bad. It does have a big event, though. It is written by Grant Morrison. He's got a couple of issues left. And drawn by Chris Burnham.
I got lots of things to say about Grant Morrison after this issue.
Well, he's almost gone.
I got lots of things to say about him.
As we remember in the Batman Incorporated #7, Robin did leave the Batcave, and Alfred gave him permission to do so. From here on out, it's going to be spoilers, but from what I've heard on the internet, I guess DC accidentally spoiled this issue 3 days before it released. We've been predicting the death of Damian for quite some time. But as he comes into the middle of this war, he actually saves Nightwing, a.k.a. Robin, as we like to call him, because he's not Nightwing, he's just Robin the First, as much as he likes to call himself Nightwing. Batman is still struggling in the vault underwater, trying to break free, while Talia is telling him, "My detective, you're too late. This is what you chose. You chose Gotham over your son," and so on. Damian does come in. He saves a lot of people. He saves Nightwing, and he fucking kicks ass the whole time, the whole issue. And that's when you really know, okay, something's going to go down. If the cover doesn't spoil it for you, which is the Robin Rest in Peace, it's kind of like a
homage.
An homage to the Batman Rest in Peace cover with the cape and cowl. This one has Robin's face with the giant cape, exactly in the same style. But they do have these good moments between Damian and Nightwing. He's always saying, I always liked our partnership, Richard.
I like this part, too, where they're fighting people, and they, I guess, use smoke bombs so they can go in there and get them, and you just see pow, sock, wham. That was really cute, too.
But things quickly go south when Damian's clone, his older clone, comes into the picture. They can't punch him in the face because he's wearing that fucking Iron Man mask or whatever. Robin being as worthless, and by Robin I mean Nightwing, is being worthless, and he gets thrown out somewhere and knocked out. So it's just Damian left to fight him. And the whole time he's begging to his mother, like, "Stop this, you can stop this, I need to speak to you." And she's ignoring him. And Batman is still trying to get out of this vault, so he doesn't get there in time. And Damian, again, spoilers, he's trying to save this young girl, and she has the trigger to the bomb, as the world bomb, as they call it. Damian says, "I promised my father I would never kill again." And he shoots his older clone, it looks like in the heart. Doesn't kill him, which is kind of surprising. Damian goes right back in there, kicks the arrow right through his chest completely.
Ew.
And then everyone else watching starts shooting Damian with arrows while Damian is on top of his older clone, just beating the shit out of him. Panel by panel, he gets his back broken, I guess, but not really because Damian's still able to fight. But they do have that same panel, like it's a reference to Bane and Batman where he breaks him over the knee. Damian simply flips back over, grabs a piece of the arrow, puts it inside. He's bleeding some more. Then he gets shot by bullets, and Damian's just like, "No!" He obviously has some armor on, so not all the bullets hurt him, but he has been shot. By the neck. Damian's just calling everyone cowards. He's cowards! Spits in Havoc's face, and he calls him a coward. And finally, Havoc stabs him, right through the stomach, right through the chest with his giant sword. Damian's a little kid. He's a 10-year-old kid, supposedly. Right. So this sword just goes right through him. Like, there's no way he's surviving this. A little edit note here. Damian's clone, his name is the Heretic, not Havoc, as I said earlier. But there you go, it's actually the Heretic, Damian's older clone. And I guess it was all a part of Talia's plan. This is kind of what she wanted. And Batman gets out, not in time, finds his son dead, and it's raining. And you just see this look of despair and sadness in Batman's face. Even Talia herself starts to cry and sobs for a moment. Her henchmen are like, "Lady Talia?" And she says, "Nothing, just a moment. A moment of weakness is all." And the final panel is Batman holding Damian's dead body. And that's the end of Damian. That's the death of our favorite Robin.
Moment of silence. Okay, I am not as sad about this as I should be. I'm very sad that Damian's dead. I'm not as sad as I should be because this comic felt very rushed to me. I don't know if you felt the same thing.
It did.
Because it was, this is done. I feel like with Death of the Family, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I felt Batman, how terrified he was that they had just lost their faces. They weren't even dead. They had just lost their faces. I felt his relief when they were all okay. I didn't feel Batman's pain in this. I didn't really care about Talia. I feel kind of like, and you all know I don't like Grant Morrison to begin with, but I felt like Grant Morrison kind of went, no, this is my character. You can't make him cool. I killed him. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I'm about to leave. Fuck it. Kill him.
Right.
Who cares?
Now, I know a lot of people are freaking out about this. You gotta realize, whose grandson is this kid?
Ra's al Ghul.
How many times has that guy been killed?
1,000,000.
And how many times has he come back?
1,000,001 times.
Exactly. So, we know Damian's gonna come back. Damian is too beloved of a character. He's not Uncle Ben. He doesn't need to stay dead.
Yeah.
He
Comic book death is never permanent.
Right.
So I'm not at all worried.
In addition, Batman now knows what a bitch Talia is. So, she just drove him into Catwoman's arms.
Whatever love I had felt for you died when Damian died.
Yes! Brr, 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 brr. Brr, 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 brr.
No, see, but we heard that song, the sad version of the animated series theme, when Damian was dead. Because, you know, Batman's just thinking, Damian. Bum,
No.
bum, bum, bum. Cut to black.
I still think Damian's gonna come back. I don't disagree with them killing off Damian. I think Morrison could have done a better job of it.
Yeah, and Morrison, in previous interviews leading up to this issue, has been saying at the beginning, when I first started the Batman Inc. stuff, I planned on killing off Damian in like a 4-issue run, and just have everyone hate Damian and then kill him off at the end of it. And then he said that people started liking the character and they started using Damian in other stories, so they kind of prolonged this event. The fact that he's been saying that he planned to kill him before this issue came out makes me think that there's a bigger plan in the works, and various people like Scott Snyder and Tomasi have been talking about how they've known about Damian's death since the very beginning, since the New 52, and they've been working their stories in such ways for the events coming up, such as Harper Row actually being in Batman #1 before she made her other appearance later on, near the end of the Court of Owls stuff. You know, people are thinking she's going to be the next Robin, so there you go. There's been some setup here. And with Grant Morrison, with this giant story with Talia and Ra's al Ghul, I mean, there's got to be something bigger for Damian. He'll obviously be back. They're going to spend a couple of issues, a couple of months with Batman mourning, and I can't wait to see that, because in the hands of other writers, I think they can really make some powerful stories of Batman dealing with Damian's death. And the last time Jason Todd died, you know, I'm sure he promised himself there will never be another Robin that's going to die under me. And now his own son, not only a Robin, but his son just died under him. He wasn't strong enough, quick enough, and he wasn't there for his son before his son got killed. And now that Alfred let Damian out of the cave, there's going to be some conflict between Batman and Alfred. There damn well better be, because that is an issue too. If I was Batman, I'd be fucking pissed at Alfred. You know better. You know that I kept Damian out of the cave for a reason. I don't give a shit if I needed help. You don't let anyone else die. If I die, that's on me. You know,
right.
But I'm not going to have it on other people.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that this story in the hands of other writers has a lot of really awesome places that it could go. Again, I didn't feel that emotional connection in this book at all. And I'm the first one to cry in a movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, her mom's a bear!
And Brave.
Yes. And you wake up, what the hell are you crying for? He's a bear!
But it's fun to speculate what's going to happen. I would really like Damian to, I don't know, maybe some people have been saying he should go into the Lazarus pit and come back evil on Talia's side.
No.
I think it would be cool to see Damian be the next Ra's al Ghul. It'd be cool if Batman, I don't know, there's one of the covers for the upcoming morning issues with Batman having Damian's body kind of suspended in glass in the Batcave. It might just be like a regular cover, but it'd be cool if he kept his body around and somehow found a way to bring him back.
I would like to see, like you said, Damian goes in the Lazarus pit, becomes the next Ra's al Ghul, makes the League, overthrows his mom, because his mom's a bitch, makes the League of Shadows what it could be if Batman
Ran it?
ran it. Because Damian, he now has the power that his mother has instilled in him, but he has the ideology that his father has instilled in him.
True.
So it would be interesting to see him, and maybe this is, in comic book time a couple years down the road, so now he's older, maybe he's 15, 16 years old. He ages quickly anyway. But him at that age running the League of Shadows as it should be, taking down villains rather than following its own.
And you know what he does? He changes the name to Batman Inc. Boom, wrapped it around. You heard it here first. Here on The Reasons I'm Broke.
And then somebody hears this, they're like, that's what you need to do. And then they go and scrap their whole story. And then this is what happens.
That motherfucker figured it out. Son of a bitch.
That would be pretty cool.
But since we haven't heard from Mumble Nini in a while, we're going to have Mumble Nini talk about Batman Inc. number 8 and give us a rundown, Mumble Nini's version of it.
Okay, so in bad number 8, Damien flying around, he's like, I'm in soon. He sees little kid and they're like, for the Slytherin house. And he goes and he beats him up anyway. And Batman's like, oh no, I'm stuck in a safe. I need to get out because my money's not in here. And so he's trying to escape. And then Damien's flying around and he sees a giant penny and it throws it on people because they're shooting things. And he saves the Robins. The Robins, not the Nightwing, but the Robin. Because he's still Robin and he uses electricity. And he looks so fat in that panel. Why does he look so fat? And then he's fighting people, and there's a motorcycle and some bombs, and he still looks fat. Who doesn't this fat? He's looking fat. And then there's a little girl, she's hiding under something, and then this big Jesus motherfucker comes out. No. The Jew motherfucker comes out. He's like, I'm gonna kill you with the will bomb. And then Damien's like, no, I fight your mama, stop it. And then they're fighting, and it breaks it back just like Bane. And then he throws him in the pit of then they keep fighting. And then he breaks his teeth and he's spitting blood on people. And he's got an Iron Man mask on too. And they're fighting, he got a little arrow, he shoots him in the face. And then, oh no, he's standing over top of him. And he kills him with a flaming arm. And the Batman's like, how dare you, Talon? I don't like you anymore. I like Catwoman forever. And then he holds Damien's body and he goes, no, Damien. If only I wasn't with Talon because I love Catwoman more, then everything will be okay.
And that was the Mumble Nini review of Batman Inc. number 8. Oh man, that's good.
Good job, Mumble Nini.
I do want to address real quick. I know we're spending a lot of time on this Batman Inc. number 8 because a lot of people have an opinion on it. And I'm seeing a lot of this one comment, and I've seen it more than once. It's on DC's Facebook page. You can see all of them on there. A lot of people are going, resorting to children's death to sell more books. Like, shut up. No. Just stop.
Grant Morrison resorted to acid to create children's death. So now you know not to go on acid.
No, but people are saying like, "Oh, DC, you're killing." I'm disgusted by the death of a child just to sell more books and to create conflict.
Then don't read it. Wait, you should be disgusted by any death.
Yeah, much less children's death. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, when they bring back Damian, I'm going to keep reading it. Until then, I'm done with DC." It's like, "Oh, you guys weren't even buying the book in the first place. Don't act like you were reading it every week. If you were, you'd know that there's bigger things in store for the character of Damian. Calm the fuck down." And then there's the people that are still like, "Oh, if they should never reboot it," those guys that never bought a book since then, and they're like, "Oh, more of DC's shitty quality since the New 52." I'm like, have you read some of these fucking books? They're amazing. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stories in the New 52 have been really good. They're comic books. They're comic books. They're comic books.
In their defense, people always go over the top with all this. You remember when they changed the DC logo?
I bitched.
You did. Every single comment. Hey, cool, new Green Lantern. It'll be really awesome. You know, it'd be really awesome if you change back the DC logo. Everything they put up on Facebook. So, yes, people bitch about stuff. They're probably going to get the next one once they calm down. They're just outraged because they like the character so much.
It reminds me of Spider-Man's death with the Superior Spider-Man. Sending death threats to Dan Slott and shit. And I've seen comments that are like, they should kill off Grant Morrison instead of Damian. It's like, what the fuck, man?
I agree. I don't like Grant Morrison.
I would never say kill him off.
Well,
He's
no,
leaving the
but-
book in a couple of issues. Like, people should stop their bitching. Plus, it's his character. Damien is his character. He can do whatever the fuck he wants with the character.
I don't care.
If Paul Dini
Damien has become our character.
If Paul Dini were to come back and say, you know what, now I'm going to change Harley Quinn into this outfit, and then it was a shitty outfit, I'd be like, you know what? Paul Dini created the character. Of course he can fucking do what he wants with the character.
No, I'd be like, Paul Dini, what are you smoking? She was awesome.
She was awesome, but it's still his character. And now this is Grant Morrison's Damien. It'll be fine. Again, Damien's going to come back. If he doesn't come back now, he'll come back years and years later when another writer says, you know what, let's go ahead and use this Damien character. He hasn't been used in a while. Let's bring him back. Fuck it.
How do we get into DC to be writers? Let's do this today.
Bring him back as the leader of the League of Shadows that he renames Batman Inc. And that's when the book will now follow Damien around as he has this Batman Inc., the League of Shadows.
That would be so cool.
Stopping crime throughout the world.
Let's write this. Let's write it right now.
Make it a fanfic. He falls in love with Snape. And,
yes. No, Snape's in love with Hermione. We still need to read excerpts of that sometime.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
You should.
But I think that will do it for this week. A lot of books, a lot of Damien news. Very exciting what's going to come up. The issues where Batman's mourning his death, as well as the rest of the Bat family, Batgirl, Nightwing, aka Robin, Red Robin, even Jason Todd. And then we'll see what comes up. Who's going to be the new Robin? Probably Harper Row, a female Robin. Mm-hmm. Very exciting times to be a Batman fan.
Yep, absolutely.
And otherwise, thank you for listening. Don't forget to find us on Twitter, @ReasonsI'mBroke. #ReasonsI'mBroke. Let us know what made you broke this week. Comic book, movies, TV shows, everything. Include it all.
We're also up on iTunes. I believe we have all of them up now.
We have a good number of them. Yeah, there'll be more up in a couple of weeks. It'll be up to date very soon.
So throw us on your iPod, listen to us in the car, leave us a rating. That helps other people find us as well.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Let us know in the comments section what you like, what we should do, what we can do better. If you're enjoying it, let us know. We'll keep doing more of these. And we do have the Let's Plays up. We're going to do another one very soon. Otherwise, thank you for listening. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
See you next week.